So, Jean-Claude Van Damme, the muscles from Brussels. Born in Belgium in 1960, Van Damme trained in karate from a young age, earning a black belt before heading to Hollywood with just a dream and insane flexibility. His breakout came in 1988's Bloodsport, a cult classic that turned him into a star and redefined martial arts movies. Then came the hits Kickboxer, Universal Soldier, Hard Target, Time Cop, each packed with his signature roundhouse kicks and slow motion splits. By the mid-1990s, Van Damme was one of the biggest action heroes on the planet. After a rocky patch, he made a comeback with JCVD in 2008, a raw emotional performance that showed his real acting chops, and later stole scenes as a villain in The Expendables 2. From martial arts master to movie legend, Jean-Claude Van Damme proved that discipline, charisma, and a killer spin kick can take you anywhere. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my home video collection of Van Damme movies. I've got things on DVD, Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray. Back in the day I used to own videotapes. I don't own any of them anymore. Who does? So I'm just going to show you basically what I have today in the year 2025, and hopefully if you're wanting to collect some of his films, especially if you live in the UK, especially obviously, I might be able to give you some advice on different versions that you can own based on the collection that I have. My collection isn't the most definitive one, but I've opted for some of the best releases where I can. So here goes. So now that we've got the Halloween special out of the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back talking about action movies. Now, I've done a few videos on this channel where I've just kind of gone through my DVD, Blu-ray, 4K collection, talking about certain actors and my collection. Well, my home video collection, if you want to call it that, of their movies. Now, I don't always have every actor's film that they've ever done, just pretty much all of the ones that I consider to be some of the best ones. Now, recently, well, this year on the channel, I've done a couple of videos where, for example, I went through all my Scott Adkins Blu-rays and DVDs. As you can kind of get the impression looking at a lot of my DVDs and Blu-rays here, there's plenty of other actors that I can do that for. So today I was wanting to basically kind of pick up where I left off when I was talking about Scott Adkins movies, and that would be to get into the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, as you can see here. I've got quite a few of them, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through some of the individual ones and just say why these ones are in my collection, and yeah, let's have a look. You can kind of see what I've done here in terms of how one collection kind of merges into the next one. So I have all my Scott Adkins movies and a couple of overlapping titles. So The Shepherd, that's one that, it's an early one, I think it was like 2008, that Van Damme did with Scott Adkins. Now, something that we saw in the early 2000s, kind of leading up to when the Expendables movies came out, was this Fight Factory label. I don't know if this was something that carried over into other countries. As you can see, it does have a UK web address there. There's quite a few of these DVDs from around that era do seem to have that label, especially box sets, but we might see more of that as we go through this. So the next one, again, Assassination Games. That was another one with Scott Adkins and Van Damme. I think that was supposed to have somebody like Seagal in it as well as Van Damme. Something that I seem to remember hearing in an interview. Now that was a DVD. We've got some Blu-rays here. This is one, actually, to be fair, I was literally just watching this film, Black Eagle. Not one that I've seen for a number of years, and I didn't remember it that well. Not that bad of a film. It gets a lot of bad reviews. If you look on IMDb, it's really low score. I don't know if it's just because, I suspect that this is a reason, to be fair. Van Damme isn't in it that much. I think he's only in it for about 15 minutes, even though he is second build. So I think maybe the expectations were maybe mismanaged with this, but it is a bit of a weird one because it was like, when I say it was early, I mean it was like before he even did Bloodsport. I think this was made, or around that time. I think it might have got released after. So the expectation was that this was going to be another film like Bloodsport or Death Warrant or Kickboxer, when it's really not. But the film, if you judge it on its own merits, is pretty good. Sho Kosugi is in that one. Not somebody who I've seen a lot of his films, but whose name comes up quite a bit. And he was pretty good in it, and the film itself's pretty decent as well. So if you haven't seen Black Eagle, definitely give it a chance. AWOL, that's a film that's had a number of titles. Wrong Bet or Lionheart. I think Lionheart is the proper name of the movie. As you can see, this is a UK release. You can see the BBFC certification there. It's a UK one. It's called AWOL, Absent Without Leave, in the UK. Good film, very good film. Some would say it was a remake of the Charles Bronson film Hard Times. I believe that was intentional. Death Warrant, that was another one done by Canon Studios, a very early one. Quite popular on videotape back in the day, I seem to remember. Now, I also have a similar box set with some overlapping films. This one has Cyborg. Again, it has Death Warrant on there and Double Impact. Again, some very early Van Damme ones, two of which are Canon movies. Obviously, Double Impact. That was a Sheldon Lettich one. Very good one. Some say it was one of Van Damme's best. These are in no particular order as such. Legionnaire. I believe there is a Blu-ray of this that you can get now, at least in the UK. But I haven't upgraded that one yet, so I probably should do. It's not a bad film. It's not one of his best. It kind of marks the sad end of his cinematic movie release career in the 90s. I think even from memory, totally going off memory here, but this is a movie that was supposed to be a cinema release, but at the last minute, for whatever reason, it only got a home video release instead. It's not a terrible film, but it's, again, not one of his best. Some really like it, to be fair. It might be one of a more sort of cult favourites of Van Damme's. Pound of Flesh, this is getting into the early 2000s. Not a bad one. Not too memorable, but again, good enough for me to have in my collection. Derailed, this is one of the worst ones. I seem to remember Viking Samurai has a saying on his channel, so bad it's derailed. You could say maybe I shouldn't have this in my collection because it's not great. But sometimes some of these films, you just kind of want to have them in your archive as a collector. I don't know. I don't understand the logic to that. Kill 'Em All, that's quite a recent one. I've got that on DVD. This one is actually a bootleg, although you won't be able to tell. It's one of these Chinese ones. I mean, you can tell, to be fair, but it's a very good cover that you get a slipcase with it, and as you can kind of see here, they've put a lot of effort into that. There's quite a lot of these Chinese Blu-rays coming out, bootlegs coming out, but there's no other way to own this physically as far as I'm aware, so I did what I had to do. Darkness of Man, another very recent release. By the way, Kill 'Em All 2 I think came out last year, so this is very recent, as is Darkness of Man. That's an official release in the UK. You can't seem to get it on Blu-ray though, so hence I've got it on DVD. It's not terrible, pretty good to be fair. The Hardcore, or Corpse, if you want to pronounce it that way. Again, Fear Factory. I seem to remember Sheldon Lettich wrote this. Did he direct it? I can't remember. I know Sheldon Lettich had something to do with it. Pretty good film, to be honest. Again, early 2000s. But I enjoyed it. I've seen that a couple of times. This is another one, again, out of the Kick-Ass, whatever, flicks. It's similar to the Fight Factory thing that I was talking about before, where there's a label that came out in the UK. You can kind of tell because it's got this like fiery border around it, just like some of the others. The Order, In Hell, and Wake of Death. Some pretty good ones on there. Again, early 2000s. In some of these kind of early 2000 films, he tends to mope around quite a lot in those films. It's a bit of a shame. His characters are usually sort of the same kind of uninspiring. Doesn't really smile very much, to be fair. But, you know, whatever. He's stoic, I guess. This is a box set. I got this years ago. I remember getting this and it felt like Christmas. It's like 10 movies, I think it is. And not the best ones in some instances, but then there's some pretty good ones as well. So it's a good box set to get. It's quite a popular one. I've seen this on shelves many times in many shops. I think I got this around about 2012. But as you can see there, those are the movies that are in this box set. I haven't upgraded some of these on Blu-ray, so for example, No Retreat, No Surrender. There is a Blu-ray of that, I haven't got it yet. Universal Soldier: The Return, Knockoff. Some of these I'm happy enough just to have on DVD because they're not that great, some of them. So it is what it is. Plus I've got a bit of nostalgia for that box set as well. Like I say, I remember getting it at the time and being really chuffed that I'd got it. Bloodsport, I talked about this release on the channel earlier this year. It's a 4K release, very nice. I won't show you any more here because I've covered it elsewhere. This is a foreign import of Nowhere to Run. So of course that was also included in this box set here, but some of them I did upgrade individually. I bought this a while ago. You can get it in the UK now on Blu-ray, a UK version, but I bought this some time before that, so I got an import of it. Plays fine, there's no forced subtitles. The language plays in English as well, so I wouldn't go for any imports where they force you to watch subtitles. This is one I seem to remember getting a US import again at a time when you couldn't get it on Blu-ray in the UK. It plays absolutely fine on a normal Blu-ray player in the UK, and it's got this weird kind of VHS look to it. If you can kind of see at the bottom there, it's supposed to look like a video cassette. Whatever. Right, okay, so I'm just going to switch arms because my arm's hurting. So Kickboxer. That's an official UK release. Blu-ray, obviously, we all know that film. Hard Target, pretty good 4K. There's different versions you can get. There's like a collector's set where I think you even get Hard Target 2, which was a Scott Adkins film. Didn't really live up to the expectations as a sequel to the first film. I just got the normal 4K version of this when it came out. So what else have we got? Time Cop. That was one of his very successful ones in terms of money at the box office kind of thing, but it did kind of mark a bit of a high point in his career that just kind of went downhill after that, which is a bit of a shame. Around about the same time, Sudden Death, that's another one. It's kind of like Die Hard but in an ice hockey stadium. Pretty good film. Maximum Risk with Natasha Henstridge. Yeah, that one is what it is. Replicant. It's an early 2000s film. I wasn't a big fan of this when it came out originally, but it kind of grew on me over the years. And it got an 88 Films, which is like a boutique home video company. Got a release through them. There's quite a few actually Van Damme ones that did. Got like boutique label releases. I haven't upgraded to some of them. JCVD, this is one where I did some pretty good acting in this one, and he got quite a bit of accolade for that. So, well, you know, that was well received anyway. 6 Bullets, it's to do with like human trafficking, kidnapping children kind of thing. It's kind of like the action version if you've seen the film Sound of Freedom, which weirdly enough is actually just there on my shelf. Or Taken, that's another one to be fair. It's probably more closer to be like that. I don't know if it came out, I think it came out shortly after Taken, so maybe somebody was inspired there. I seem to remember that Dolph Lundgren also did a similar one called Skin Trade. We'll talk about Dolph Lundgren's films another day. Enemies Closer came out, I think, shortly after Expendables 2 when he played a bad guy in Expendables 2. He plays a really wacky kind of villain in this film, kind of almost Joker-inspired. Definitely stylistic. It's not a bad film. Give it a go. The Bouncer, this is one that, again, I think he got quite a bit of decent reviews for. He's pretty good in this film, and the film itself is pretty good as well. So if you're going to watch one that's come out maybe in the last decade, I think this was about 2018 from memory, but if you're going to watch one, a more recent one of his, I'd suggest this one. It's pretty good. Then we're getting on to some good ones here. You can kind of see what I did with the Scott Adkins ones, where it kind of merges into the Jean-Claude Van Damme ones. We're kind of getting into Dolph Lundgren territory now. So we've got Universal Soldier, the original one, which is a 4K. Really good film. I loved this film and watched it so many times over and over when I was a kid. Then there's Universal Soldier Regeneration, which came out in 2009. There's a very different kind of feel to it, this one, a bit lower budget, but there's a lot of talent behind this movie as well. So when it came out, I was like, you what? When I first saw it. But again, it's kind of grown on me. I've got like a new appreciation for these kind of movies in more recent times. And then there was a sequel to that, which was more of a Scott Adkins movie called Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning. And I've got this like lenticular case for this one. I've had a few versions of this over the years. I tend to like buy it and then sell it and then buy it and then sell it. I don't know why I keep doing that, but I'm going to keep it now because those two films have kind of grown on me a little bit more in recent times. So that's pretty much it for the Van Damme ones. Obviously, he was in Expendables 2 as well, which I've got up there. That's kind of more in my Statham and Stallone collection. But yeah, there you go. That's my Van Damme collection. And there's probably a few titles in there that definitely don't belong in there, because there's some pretty bad ones that he's done over the years as well. But on the most part, I'm a fan. So that's my collection. Hope you've enjoyed this. Now, if you want to see more about action movie stars on this channel, you can check out our existing video content and subscribe, because there'll be plenty more to come.